What's good? I
What up?
think.
What's
Yeah.
What?
up?
I was like, I think.
Yeah, that's
What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all feeling? Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Black, Never Broken, Always Empowered. I just want to say while we're live that I just listened to the What's Happening website or the
Mhm.
website, the What's Happening podcast with Archie, and they called us out for having the longest podcast name there is. But he fucking got it right though. But Brad correctly said our long ass podcast name, so I just want to let that
First
be
off,
known.
but people keep getting confused. Unapologetically Black is just the name of the podcast. Everything else is like the slogan
tagline.
with it.
Tagline.
Like they want to say the whole thing. Like, no, pimp, this was just
Name
unapologetically
Slack
Black. It's
Slickback.
2 words. You know what I'm saying? And it's English, unlike what's happening, Brad.
How you from the South going to criticize that?
What's happening?
I'm
No, I'm not
dead.
criticizing it. That's very good English, actually. Very good English. I understood every part of it. I even knew how to spell it when they said it. I automatically knew how to spell it. Like
I'm
I didn't
dead.
even ask like, oh, how do you spell that? What's happening? And if it wasn't spelled that way, then I was going to criticize the fact that they used that and then chose not to spell it the way
And
it was
spelled
supposed.
it incorrectly.
Yeah, if you put
That's
what's
funny.
happening, like you're from fucking Canada or Denver or something.
This is Canada slander. 1 minute in.
Yeah, like from fucking Canada or something. What's
Anywho, how are y'all feeling? How has your week been? What's good? What y'all been up to?
I've been fantastic. Life has gifted me a fucking sock, and I am free from the shackles of my last job.
I'm
And
dead.
I just got 2 callbacks from the 2 jobs I already had lined up, and I'll be starting the first one tomorrow and the second one on Thursday.
Well, I am so proud of you, Dobby, for being freed.
I'm happy you at least got that reference. Much for me.
Um, it was the prop for me, though. You had the sock ready to go. All right, Rich. I see how you feel, but for those who aren't live, how you feel?
I got 2 middle fingers for the 2 bitches that chose to quit abruptly. That's what I got. Fuck y'all and
Yeah.
your bald headed mama.
The
Yikes.
UNAV podcast and I
Hope
support.
y'all slip and fall on a wet banana peel. I hope you break your butt bone, your tailbone, and not break it. That's mean. I hope you bruise it really fucking bad. To anytime you sit down, you need a fucking donut. That's what I want to happen. So there we go. Other than that, week is good. Revenue is up by 12% because I'm at work all goddamn day. 5-star reviews are out the goddamn wall because I'm fucking amazing with customers. So other than that, and the 2 bald-headed bitches that chose to leave, yes, that's why I called y'all bald-headed biatches.
You want to pepper in a little bit of humility on that one or nah?
No, fuck them. There's no humility on nothing. Look,
Greatest.
don't give me don't look. I don't mind people quitting abruptly, right? Really don't give a damn. Because I've done it before. So I understand it. They're like, you know what, this just ain't for me. Boom, done. What I dislike is I'ma leave on Friday and your bitch ass leave on Monday. And then you told me you was gonna leave on Friday. Say the previous Friday, you say, you know what, hey Rich, this job ain't for me. I'm gonna be gone next Friday. Cool. I left you alone. I let you work. I fucking pay you. And then I schedule your bitch ass until Friday. I didn't schedule you past Friday. As a matter of fact, I didn't even schedule on Friday. I gave you the Thursday so you can have a whole Friday off. And you leave on Monday. Fuck y'all.
All
I had
right.
shit planned. I was supposed to go home, see my kids go to school, come back and work. Nope. And then what really pissed me off, I'm gonna go on a tangent for a little bit. This
Go
is
for
this
it.
is about white people, okay? What really pissed me off is that there were 4 white people at this store before I got there. Now, mind you, I get there, I buy the store, I get there, and I automatically give raises. I didn't ask nobody name, I didn't ask how long they been there, I didn't ask none of that. I said, what's the starting pay rate wage? They said $10. Fuck it, make it 13. Whatever number you're at right now, add $3 to it. That's what you're making now. That's what I did.
I'd be happy.
Came in and did that. Then out of nowhere, now any other store, just Columbus, the whitest of my white stores. One by one, it's just magic. It's like the motherfuckers had a meeting, and then all of a sudden, they quitting. Oh no, nah, see, I need more flexibility. Bitch, you work 2 days out the week. You work Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, the mall is only open from 12 to 6. 6 hours. You work Saturday and Sunday, and you need more flexibility. Bye. But I about punched that bitch in the throat. And I know I'm saying bitch a lot. I'm sorry, baby, but I'm gonna keep saying because it made me mad. But and then so fat dude, he leave, right? He's supposed to again
filter, man. Damn it.
He's supposed to leave
Damn it.
the 30th. He said, I'm gonna leave July 30th.
Put it up on the screen.
This motherfucker leaves on the 21st after I show up, right? I show up, I go get some lunch. I say, look, I'm gonna go get some lunch. He come back, waddling his big ass down the goddamn hallway, talking about, emergency, my son is sick or whatever. I need to go to the hospital. Hey, cool, no problem, bro. Go take care of the kids, you good. Come the next day. Luckily, I just went to the store because I was just there. I wasn't scheduled to go. I just showed up. It's 11:30. Store's not open. Why not? I go in, unlock it. I'm calling people. Yo, he never answered the phone. Never answered the phone. This scary bitch sent me an email.
I was going to take it down.
No, leave that up until he's
bitch.
He said rants over and that's when he goes down.
Talking about, well, since you here now, I'ma just go ahead and not come back. Nigga, what? Then one girl thought that because he quit, she was just supposed to be like, oh, well, since he quit, he said I could go on vacation. I'm like, well, Chris don't work here no more. So it sucks that your manager said you can go on vacation and then chose to quit. Now, anything he said before, null and void, don't mean shit to me. Your ass. Now, I'd have been mean if I said your ass still got to work. But you know what I said? Okay, cool. He gave you the 2 weeks off. Take it. Come back. Bitch still want to resign. I don't feel appreciated. You ain't done shit. Half of my negative reviews are because of you. And your monotone rude assness.
That's pretty texty.
Calling me, so I'm gonna stop.
It's more where I know I have to learn how to edit videos because, god damn it, Rich.
Whatever.
Okay, well, you guys, I started my new job, and today I had an onboarding meeting, right? So when you hear onboarding meeting, you think they're gonna talk to me, about everything that I need to know. So I get on there, it's an hour-long meeting, and they're like, so we just want you to, give us your ideas and ask us questions. And I was like, I'm running this meeting? Like, I'm running my onboarding meeting? Because that's essentially what happened. I did not come prepared to run a meeting on what would essentially be my first day that's not paperwork. So, I pulled some shit out my ass. It was good. I apologized mid conversation. I was like, yeah, I wasn't prepared for this to go this way. They're like, no, it's going exactly how we thought it would. And I'm like, great, because Jamal doesn't need to share that. But that's actually a very true statement.
What?
Doesn't need to be on the screen.
I'll read it anyway.
So that, and then I'm getting ready for my sister's wedding next month. So I finally booked my hotel room, and I was behind the ball on a lot of things, and my sister-in-law is going to kill me because she's
where's she at? Seattle? Seattle?
No, they're in Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah, but Lanaya is in no way, shape, or form a bridezilla, but she is very organized. And I straight lied to her face and said that I ordered my bridesmaid's dress well before when I hadn't yet. So I paid for rush delivery. It will be there tomorrow. I won't know if it fits until I get there next month.
Russian
aspects of life right now.
The wedding's not until September. And it's gonna be there
Because
tomorrow.
no, because it said that it wasn't going to be there until like September 15th or something, unless I rushed it, and rushed it got it there by September 2nd, and it just turns out that it's before.
They super rushed that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it, and now I wish I delivered it to myself so I could see if it fit, but I delivered it to my sister, so I will
Hey, Michigan, like
try
3
it
hours
on
away.
at rehearsal. Michigan is 8 hours away.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why Pittsburgh's the middle point between Ohio and us. It's 4 hours.
Michigan over here where I'm at.
Yeah, that's the only Michigan in the United States of America.
Look, y'all Midwest states, East states. I don't pay attention to y'all.
Yes, Michigan is right above Ohio. Ohio's right below it. So, like, coming from here, we'd have to drive. It's essentially 4 hours through Pennsylvania, and then like maybe 3 hours through Pennsylvania, and then like 4 hours through Ohio. And then once we get to Michigan, it's like
But
an
y'all
hour
stopping
past
through
that.
Ohio. Heard you. Got you.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of time we're making. I got you.
Y'all gonna be like near Cleveland, so we can go to Cleveland, see what's happening.
Like, I'll let you know what kind of time we make, and we'll talk.
Or on the way back when y'all not rushing on the way back.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, so that's been my day. It's been a good day overall. A good week so far. No complaints. But yeah, today's episode. Speaking of Rich walking into all these white people and paying them an extra $3 because ain't no slavery going down on Rich's watch.
Considering forcing them to work.
Exactly.
My bad for asking motherfuckers to do their job and work.
And paying them to do such.
And paying you to do so. Sorry that I don't pay you minimum wage. That's probably what it is. When you don't pay people minimum wage, they complain. People that make minimum wage are happy that they have a job. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's not true.
I'm gonna start making motherfuckers work for $7.25.
That's not true at all.
So that they can be happy that they have a job.
You know,
When you pay people salary, they don't act like they like, oh, you lucky I'm here. No, motherfucker, you lucky I employed you.
People that make salary, from my experience, do the least amount of work that I've ever seen.
Every time I've been on salary,
so I put you on minimum wage, so then you're happy with overtime.
Salary.
So that you're happy with overtime.
Yep, I pay you minimum wage, and then I say I'll give you overtime, and you be like, oh hell yeah, I'm about to work. I'm about to get these hours on minimum wage, pimp. And that's still less than what I would pay my salary person.
Yeah. So speaking of slavery,
you sound exactly like a slave master right now.
Exactly. That was such a great segue, unintentional. So yeah, today's episode is about slavery, and if slavery still exists in 2022 in the United States specifically. So yeah, that's the question. We all know that slavery was abolished in 1865, technically. But in the 13th Amendment, it literally says, neither slave nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, whereof the party shall be duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So it literally left a loophole for slavery to exist in the United States.
In jail.
Right.
Just in jail. There's derivatives all over. Much of in customer service. That's domestic servitude right there. Crap pay, shitty treatment, terrible environment.
But yeah, I mean,
I've had some shit experiences.
Fucking murder.
You were just explaining how you would treat your folks.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna treat them like restaurants. I'm gonna pay you $2.15, and your customers that walk in, they're gonna tip your ass, and that's how you get paid. And now I see how well you work.
This is why he was pitching the Uncle Ruckus show, because he supports mindsets like that, y'all.
No, I hate that. But that's how they act. I believe restaurants get away with murder. Restaurants should definitely pay you way more than $2.15 an hour and rely on the customer to pay you.
Absolutely.
Right, mainly because if I'm not in the mood, to be quite honest, I might not tip you.
Meh.
Yeah,
we know.
And then it just depends on what my pockets look like. If my pockets say $30 and it's my birthday and I want to go eat a $25 meal, nah, bitch, I ain't got $5 to give you. You pay for this meal and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna give you a high five and say thank you, and I'm gonna go home.
Not the high five.
And that's it. Don't get upset with me, the customer. Get upset with the restaurant that chose to pay you $3. Why can't they pay you $10 and then rely on tips? Why can't they pay you $15 and don't worry about tips? You know what I'm saying? Or $25 and not worry about tips. And then any extra tip that's made goes to the restaurant, but they pay you $25 an hour. Maybe that. There's so many things that restaurants could do, but I feel like waitresses and certain other service areas get pissed off at the person that's paying.
Because some people are assholes and some people ask you to do the utmost work, treat them like shit, then like, why I got a tip? Motherfucker, you just ask them to do all this work, run around the whole restaurant. The least you can do is give them a little bit more money. That's the least you
I don't ask you to run around the restaurant. You don't allow me to do things. If you said, here's your Coke, I will go fill up my own goddamn Coke if you let me go to the Coke machine. But you won't.
You say Golden Corral, what you mean? They don't let you do nothing.
Most restaurants won't let you go to your own. I will go fill up my own soda because I'd rather not wait 20 minutes for you to walk through 10 other tables to bring me a soda.
I'm sorry, there's other people in the fucking restaurant, Rich.
So then let me go get my own soda and I don't have to wait on you.
Get your own soda out your fucking refrigerator.
I'm not here to wait on other people. I'm here for my service.
If you want your own service, you eat at your own house, at your own table, and
I pay you my money to eat the food at this restaurant. If anything, I would pay the chef, the person that cooked it, not the person that brought it to me. I can go pick up my own food.
That would be a disaster because
I'm not gonna lie, that would be a disaster if people just walk into the kitchen and pick up their own food.
90% of the time have no idea what the hell they're talking about or doing.
But I'm just saying.
All right.
If I only got enough for this, then that's all I got. But that's not the topic.
It's not the topic. I tried to get the topic.
That's not the topic. Any restaurant that's understaffed it's a business failure on the restaurant's part.
So pretty much every restaurant.
Yeah, it's a business failure because that's their business model is to understaff, pay less labor, and we know we're going to get a lot of people. Waffle House knows they're going to get a lot of people. They're going to understaff it because they don't have to pay the labor and just make people there work harder. That's a business practice that they do.
Understaffed, man. That's just post-COVID era because people realize that this industry is basically domestic servitude. It is shitty.
That's a part of it, but I still believe even before COVID, they were still understaffed. I have still barely had people in it. Chili still had one waitress waiting 10 tables because that's how they staffed that night. Oh, that's my niece. I can't press that. That's my niece. Sorry. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. It's a business model that most restaurants take, which is a bad business model. And a lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want to feel like servants.
Nobody wants to get abused for money.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. I know for me, I never worked in a actual like restaurant. I've done fast casual restaurants and coffee shops, essentially in retail. So for me, my experience for like at coffee shops, fucking worse because you get everyone when they're under caffeinated first thing in the morning. They're assholes. Like, and I got paid salary, not a good one, but I got salary wage. And it's still pretty shit work. So I would have to agree there. But as far as like slavery in its, purest definition and form of not getting paid, restaurants are pretty damn close. I'm not going to hold you because that $2 is some bullshit. And then you have to declare your tips on your taxes. Like, fuck you. That was my money. I worked hard for that.
I mean, but that's with taxes in general. I know,
right?
Even if I make salary, I worked for my money. Why are you taking 37
Yeah,
on
but
my
I
money.
have to add up like my $2 here, my credit card. Like you're supposed to keep
Like
track
the
of
fact that
that.
there's two separate gross and then net, like that's retarded, man. Like I should be able to make all the money I got.
Rich. Can't use that word, man.
What?
You
He
can't.
said what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's a work in progress, y'all.
I am. I'm working.
He's trying. Okay.
Waffle House has a can fight part on your resume.
I literally just read that. Like
But yeah,
can fight.
I mean, outside of the obvious like jail, like we know jail is that's a slave system. One, they don't have a choice, right? It's work for 5 cents, do what we tell you to do, or get beat, literally, or get beat, get thrown in a hole, solitude, and then worst case scenario, get time added onto your sentence because you don't want to work for free.
Right. And like
Right?
the
So
work
it's like,
isn't just like passive work, it's the upkeep of the prison system. It's the, like you're the one fixing the light bulbs so that they don't have to pay a contractor to come in.
right.
And
Yep.
Whatever else. Like there's a lot that
Mhm.
prisoners do
But
for us.
That's
outside of the United States,
I didn't
there's 167 countries that still have a form of like slavery, where slavery is still a thing to them. That's just how they do. And
Yeah.
there's smaller countries. I wouldn't know, so no big country with a form.
India.
Oh, well, yeah,
India's pretty big.
not pretty big. India's
It's pretty big.
India's huge.
Yeah, and it's
Like
like number one,
yeah,
or right
I
up
think they
there
were like
with
a
the number of
billion.
slaves.
Are they at a billion? Just India?
I think so. You're asking the wrong person. That's not my
India got
strong
a lot.
suit. But Dre, you were gonna say something. I don't.
Oh, I was just saying, what's it called? Like, it should be illegal. Obviously, it's not, but it should be illegal to buy prison systems directly bypass the 13th Amendment, which is allowing them to get free slave labor.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's not bypassing. It's
They looked at
following
it.
it. They were like, bet.
Yeah, they looked at it. They were like, "Fuck y'all." Anyway,
Exactly. Like, okay. And then that's when you started getting, the war on drugs and like infiltrating black neighborhoods, putting them into the jail system. Like, once you're convicted, not only do you go to jail, serve your time, and have servitude, then you come out of jail and you're transitioning back into regular civilian life. And, that is not usually an easy path for so many people that then puts them back in jail or whatever they need to do to, stay on their feet is usually a harder road to do it the legal way than to just.
so American jails have never been a rehabilitation center. Ever. I don't think that was
Right.
ever their plan, ever their goal. It was to treat you and get as much free labor as possible out of you. And then knowing the statistics of what happens once we break you down inside of here, the odds of you coming back are even higher. So now we don't have to focus our energy on catching new criminals. You'll just catch the old ones. The ones that got out on parole and then messed up their parole. Now you're coming back, and we add those new charges on top of the fact that you violated parole. On top of that, and they just go from. I believe they purposely designed it that way.
Of course.
And then each state has its own laws on how their prisons work. It's each state, and then each state will go by, and then they're like, okay, cool. Now we're going to make this a privately owned thing, where we're going to have shareholders and investors that are privately owned to keep it rolling like this. Prisons are a business, and they're the business of slavery. Legal systems.
Michelle made the comment that I saw, and it just reminded me of when I was like 18. So she said in Georgia, the prisoners that work the grounds and landscaping for the towns, sometimes they be on chain gang. Like it's wild as fuck, like literal slaves. And so when I say that reminds me of being 18, it has nothing to do with being a slave. But I had a job in which I worked for MDOT, so the Michigan Department of Transportation, and we clean the side of the highways. So I was a supervisor and I had like 4 or 5, 15, 16-year-olds in my truck. And we just got an assignment. We drive over there and we clean up. And people would think we were like juvenile delinquents all the time. But it was an actual job. We got paid for it. But that was kind of my experience because you were definitely profiled as being prisoners, essentially, because that's what you're used to seeing, fixing the roads and what our tax money goes to, fixing the roads. There's a lot of that is they're prisoners and they're not getting paid for that.
Mm-mm. That's why I'm trying to figure out how taxes are paid to fix the road. That's why it never gets fixed. I'm gonna pay you, pay taxes. You pay $3 million. Then you pay 100,000 of that 3 million to slave workers, and you got 900 of them, and then now they gonna fix the road.
Mm-hmm.
You just pocket the rest of the money. There go your Christmas bonus.
You messed up, and then they come back to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they know it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's a thing everywhere, and I was wrong. Pretty much all of the big countries are the ones that still have slavery. India, China, Afghanistan, North Korea, Nigeria, Iran, and we're and now obviously places like China and India are higher because they have higher population.
Larger population, right?
So, through comparison, they will naturally have more slaves. But just the fact that it still exists.
Yeah, there's 40 million enslaved people, like in 2022, in the world. 40 million. And it doesn't all look like what slavery looks like in the United States, obviously. Like, it's still terrible because people are being worked for no money. In a lot of cases, it looks like essentially the maid or whoever's in your house just is working for shelter and a hot meal.
Or the child.
Right. Exactly. So not to say that that's good in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like as I was looking up things and all of that, I saw a lot of people talking about, well, all of this slavery is going on around the world, but we only care about, what happened in America 200 years ago. Pause. First of all, it's not 200 years ago. Like, there are people still like enslaved. There were slaves in the 1960s. Like, we have Juneteenth and we celebrate Juneteenth as far as knowing you're free, but when your situation is what your situation is, and brute force is still being used over you and no one's coming to police that plantation, like, you're gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
Much like Sundown Town.
I don't want them to say 200, like 200 is a long time. 1980 was 40 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's still modern time. 1980 is modern time. And that was 40 years ago. Like, come on.
Yeah, 200 wasn't a long time ago.
200 isn't that long.
It's still like, and what I mean by that is it's still a different form of slavery. Like, what we're upset about is you ripping us from our homes, bringing us here, building an entire country on our backs, and then using racism that even when we're free to still keep us out of being free, versus enslavement in other countries are enslaving the people of that country. You know what I mean? It's their own people. It's not always brute force. It's a different definition than what Black people complain about, or the way other people view it.
Just like how they say that, that was a long time ago, it doesn't exist anymore. That's a lie. You were just racist 10 seconds ago. Not you, but tell white man, you were just racist 10 seconds ago. It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
Y'all just want us to believe it was that long ago, so that way we don't talk about it.
And that's the importance of
I guarantee you, what they fear the most is that Black people will eventually treat them the way they treated us. And that's what they're scared of. They're like, oh, shit.
They're becoming minorities. That's why they overturned Roe v. Wade.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, shit, if they ever treat us the way we treated them, then that's going to be the end of the white race. When we don't really care to treat you the same way, we just want you to stop treating us this way. That's all.
Exactly. Like, we're not sitting up here with all the energy and the hate, to do that back. Like, because we don't have the law on our side to do it back.
Alone. That's it. Just leave us be.
Exactly. Like, let me live, bruh. Like, dead ass. But yeah. Oh, something else I found out. The state of Mississippi did not legally end enslavement, like within their laws, until 2013. So it's relatively recent. And to this day, there are still people who live, on plantations, in slave quarters, work on plantations, maybe for pay or just indentured servitude or whatever kind of loophole one can find. So that's like modern day Mississippi. Just crazy. Um, Duly noted not to visit. Like, I am good.
It's cool. You'll be in the house anyways.
There's nothing in Mississippi to do anyway.
Not in the
The
house.
entire state of Mississippi is a big land of nothing.
Being in the house was like, people act like that was the good life. That's literally you were having sex with massive. Like you were being raped in the house.
I mean, that was good, but it was like you picked one end of the sword. It's just a double-edged sword.
Right. No, I feel it. I'm just saying, as a light skinned person who's been told that all their life.
I mean,
Like, my rebuttal is the fuck. Like, I was still being fucked with. So, for
I
my
mean, I don't
people.
know, man. The lighter, the lighter skin toned people weren't as abused. Not they weren't as abused. I'm not saying that they weren't abused. They weren't as abused because, especially if you're a woman, the master didn't want to see all of the bruises
Bruises.
on your body. He didn't want to see that, and that's why he put you in the house to cook and all that other stuff.
Right.
Now, you were subject to other stuff. We go. That's a whole nother ball game. We're gonna talk about that.
but you
No,
was
you're right.
But
Or just,
you
or
definitely
just
wasn't getting a good old whip across the back.
I feel that.
You
I feel that.
know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah. So, are there any other forms of modern day slavery that you guys
not
know of?
not necessary for me. Not necessarily slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just injustices across the board, right? One of the main reasons why I chose to become an entrepreneur was to hire other black people. And I'm not saying I'm not going to hire white people, but to hire other black people to give them opportunities that I know for a fact, if they went to corporate America to try to get this job with these qualifications, you have to have higher qualifications to get selected over the white male who might have slightly less qualifications than you, but because he is a white male who can somewhat meet the bare minimum, and they will pick him, especially if your name doesn't sound ghetto. They wanted. That's why parents started naming their children names that people could say: Richard, Brittany, Jasmine. Something that doesn't like it correlates.
It was the skipping over DeAndre for me.
But when you look at a resume,
Ashley.
not a single white person name is DeAndre. Not one
name.
So when they're looking at resumes, the first thing that they're looking at are people's names.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at your first name and they're looking at your last name, and that's right there is your first shot at the job. They ain't even skimmed the resume yet. You can be DeAndre, PhD. It could literally have PhD right up under as your education in forensic science, and they gonna look like, nah, his name DeAndre. Brad, however, has a bachelor's and associates in biology. He can take the job.
Right.
To answer your question, Britt, yes, there is different forms of slavery, especially modern day. Sex trafficking is, to this day, one of the biggest versions of it, especially with like the issues going on with Lyft and a couple women being snatched.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that they definitely fight that more though than modern day slavery, like jails and like businesses and stuff like that. Sex trafficking, they definitely crack down on a lot more. You will definitely get. They don't care what color you are. You'll definitely get time for sex trafficking. Like you probably ain't gonna ever get out of jail for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And the whole thing with Lyft and Ubers, that's scary. But you've been hearing those stories more and more of just getting picked up and being taken in the opposite direction. I don't know. It's scary. I'm kind of really glad that I'm not out here just living my best single life. The woman, because I really don't go anywhere without Jamal.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
but that's those are things that I want to teach my daughter, not to be so naive and I can just do this by myself. I don't like there's people that say that like, oh, you don't need friends to travel the world. First off, you don't need them, but it's surely not the best idea to travel cross country, cross state by yourself. That is not a good idea. This is just a terrible idea if you're the only one.
yeah, you should have a friend.
A friend,
One
a
friend.
couple of friends. It is completely insane
Right.
to go international by yourself. That's almost I don't want to say it's illogical, but it's a very bad idea, people. Don't do that. Okay?
No, it's illogical.
And travel with friends. Travel with people so that someone has your back. Keep the blicky on you at all times.
Okay. Dre, you said you don't think that's illogical.
I said I would agree that it's illogical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to tell people that they're illogical for wanting to go places by themselves. I know a lot of people are loners, but you just your risk factors.
You should always have your safety as a priority. So yes, you should have some person with you,
especially as an American.
Yeah,
going to a lot of these different countries.
Your risk factors go through the roof, like
American at that. Because everybody else don't like you like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you get to another country, they will know for a fact. Oh, you're American? Oh, see, the stuff we watch on TV here and the persona that y'all have as the bullies of the world and I'm here to colonize and take over, they really don't like you.
They do not bang with any Americans at all.
No. Don't like you.
And don't let it be a country where you don't know their language. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You go in there not having learned their language or their culture.
Turn it right back around.
And don't be the black person in a whole nother country. Oh, my God. You're automatically the problem.
Yeah.
You sit down.
To Michelle's point, she said, I think as long as you check in and turn on your location for folks, it should be cool. Like, people get snatched even when they're with other people, which is absolutely true. And I'm not, like you said, I'm not telling you not to travel, but you have to be safe and communication is key. But if something happens to you and you're in another country and no one else is with you, no one else can help you.
The odds are higher when you're by yourself, right? And then, you know what I'm saying? When you're with other people, when women travel out, right, and they with a group of their friends, the odds of a man approaching you in the group are a lot lower than if you're by yourself and then he approaches you.
That's true.
And that's just a club scene. So imagine in a whole nother country, you by yourself, and these men don't have the same wherewithal of normal men. Like they don't mind approaching you. They don't mind touching you. They don't mind doing it because in their culture, that's what they do. So, now your odds just went through the roof. And then sex trafficking in those countries might be a lot higher.
Oh, they're definitely higher. Not even.
You know what I'm saying? You location on or not, pimp, I can't get to you if you in France. I can't get to you. And you by yourself, I just don't think it's a good idea, But my wife don't go a lot of places by herself, and she keep the blicky with it everywhere she go. So if you get shot up, that's your fault.
Good.
I always, but I don't care what the Second Amendment say, what they try to do with it. Oh, gun restriction, my ass. Look, because this man don't care about the gun law at all. He gonna try to snatch me regardless. So I'm gonna make sure he get a few hot shells before he try to take it.
Also, another major form of slavery that I know you and me, Brittany, are very, very familiar with is bonded labor or debt bondage, aka fucking Sally Mae.
Sally Mae.
If you don't know what it is, that is student loan debt. Anybody who's been to college says fuck Sally Mae with the utmost confidence.
I don't need the military man to raise his hand.
I just want to know how you figure I don't know anything about student loan debts.
I don't know if you went to college. I never asked.
I have a bachelor's in business. Of course, I went to college.
I never knew that, so I didn't ask.
Yes.
Also, you have the GI Bill. I'm assuming that kicked in for you.
That doesn't mean I didn't take out student loans.
And that's a blessing.
It didn't mean I didn't take out student loans.
Never an issue for you.
I feel you.
It is. I mean, it may be. We don't know.
Yes, Biden needs to forgive them loans, because I already forgave myself. That's, you know what? I have come to terms with the fact that I'm not a psychologist, and I think he should come to terms with the fact that I didn't use that degree.
That's debatable because I see both sides of that, right? Where I believe that certain college degrees are just overly expensive, right? And then that you took a lot of unnecessary classes.
Absolutely.
If I'm trying to be an art major, I don't understand why I'm taking geography.
PE. Why are you taking PE?
Why am I PE?
I walked to class today.
Why do I have a Negro spiritual class? I'm an arts major, bro. I don't need a Negro spiritual class. So that's wasted money. Mm-hmm. However, you did borrow that money. And it's not like you unknowingly borrowed the money. You did. You should probably pay a portion. I say a portion of it back. Add up the amount of actual classes that it took to get that degree and not these extracurricular. Why do I need to take extra classes and electives to get a degree? Why don't I just take the core classes necessary to get the degree?
Right.
I just want to say that at that point, Rich, most people that went to college weren't even old enough to drink before they had thousands of dollars of debt in their name.
I would agree with you.
That's true.
You just shouldn't be able to get a student loan if you were not able to drink. That's ridiculous to me.
But then you also wouldn't be able to. So I believe that college should be free up to a bachelor's.
It should.
I believe college should be free up to a bachelor's. Now, your master's and your PhD programs, that's where the money kicks in. But if we waited till people were 21, no one would go to college. Because by the time you hit 21, most people are starting to enter into their adult life where they're doing their own things and they're just moving on.
Yes, so, I get them young because they don't have a full understanding of finance.
Correct. They do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people want to you start your careers younger versus starting your careers later in life.
Yes.
But yeah, I would agree. It's easier to get a student loan debt. I can take out $100,000 in student loan debt, but I cannot take out a $100,000 business loan to start a business.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot buy a house. I can't take out a
not at 18.
I can go buy 4 cars. 4 cars. I can go to Nissan today, get a loan. I can go to Chevy tomorrow, get a loan. Have a down payment. I can go to Ford the next day, and they will give me a car loan. And take out $90,000 worth of auto loan debt. Can I get a house?
It take you longer to find a 1-bedroom apartment and to be able to get that apartment than you would getting student loan debt.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I can go faster than I can find a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that's what's ridiculous.
And that place to live. I was going to say, yeah, you have to make 3 times.
3 times the rent.
Or hope a parent will co-sign, or you know what I mean, or something. Like at that age, you need a parent to co-sign. You need something.
I don't mind the guardian co-signing for the apartment, but the issue is
sometimes the guardian does. That's the issue.
The guardian wants to co-sign for the the guardian, but I don't mind that being a prerequisite. Like, hey, if you're 18, right, 18 to 20, like you need a guardian to co-sign for the apartment. I don't mind that. But then if the guardian has a place to live already, right? They have their own home and they're paying a mortgage. They live in an apartment where they already have to make 2-3 times the rent. Then you're going to add another apartment where they're going to want you to make 2-3 times that rent as well. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to take into account the fact that you already pay rent somewhere, which just makes it even harder.
It's funny that they take that into account for something like this, but they don't take into account for anything else.
No.
Like if we go back to like talking about child support, they're not like, oh, you pay this and this and this. They're like, nah, you got to pay this. Like they don't worry about anything else you paying.
They be like, what? You got all those bills? Yeah, we don't care. You make, what's your net or your gross? Your gross is 50,000. Yeah, you're going to pay child support based off of that.
Right.
Like what? I pay child support before I get taxed. Like, off of that. Then got to pay bills. Yeah. With taxes. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah,
Like
it's
shit.
a that's a whole nother form of slavery.
Hey, let's talk about it. We
That's
talking
a
about it.
whole nother form of locked up, can't do anything, no matter what, because they can take everything from you. They can take
Right.
your bank account. You can't travel. They'll freeze your passport. You can't even order a new one if you have a certain amount of debt. Any money that comes into your account automatically goes to them until it's cleared. Automatic. You have no say so. The bank has no say so. It
Right.
comes straight from the attorney general, and they say freeze that account. The bank says, "Sorry, nothing we can do. We have to freeze this account." I
Mm-hmm.
just put 10 grand in that account. I know none of that is yours. Wait, what you mean? I have bills to pay. We know. Sucks. Can't do
Right.
nothing about that. And then it'll take the attorney general or the child support office 2 weeks to clear it up. And then it still take your bank another 7 days after they cleared it up in 2 weeks on their end before the funds. It's been 3 weeks before you get your money. You're behind on bills left and right before that money's cleared up. I'm not talking about what I've heard. I'm talking about what I know, what I have experienced. They will freeze the fuck out of your account, and they will look at you and say, "Sucks. Sorry, you can't cash a check. You can't do anything.
Right.
You can't do nothing. They will literally just hold you bound, and you better pray that you got cash on you, or that you got somebody that'll hold you down until they clear it up."
And see, student loans will do that, but not to that extreme of an extent. They'll
Mm-hmm.
just take your tax returns.
Mm.
Because I remember like 2 years ago, I was this return coming back. I was getting like a stack. I looked at my little app. It was like snatched by the student loan. Like, oh, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is they don't even explain what happened.
No,
I'll file my taxes, and my accountant would be like, "Oh yeah, you're getting like 9 grand back." Okay, cool. I look at my account, or check the IRS. They be like, "Hey, your return has been modified or altered because of X, Y, and Z." They don't tell you what. They don't tell you how much. And then when you look at your account, you be like, you got $1,500. You like, whoa, wait, I was supposed to get 9. What happened? You'll get, when you'll get that letter that they took it from you 3 months later.
Absolutely.
When they say, "Oh, you paid X amount,"
they reopen that wound.
Sway, why? Why did we go through this? And they'll do it. They won't even ask you. They won't even ask. They will legit just take it,
bro.
Yeah, that shit sucks. I've been both hit home, personally, real close to my heart. So,
but at least student loan debts, you can wait until, or they can be deferred until after you've gotten your degree.
Yes,
child support can't be deferred at all.
If anything, they can do other deferments too.
They're trying to make it to where you pay before the baby even get here. They ain't deferring shit.
Yep, they're trying to set it back 9 months. Figure it out. Yeah. Did you guys have any other ones you wanted to talk about before I move on?
Nah, I think people know what it is.
The debt bondage.
The debt bondage.
Yeah.
It sounds like
debt slavery.
Part BDSM, part like kind of sexy, but not. All right. So my next question, so what are some existing cultural norms within the Black culture that derive from slavery that show that we're not too far off from
beating kids?
Beating kids.
What about?
Okay. I want you to kind of explain when you say beating kids. Are we talking about like actual abuse beating, or are we just talking about you're just saying whooping them in general? Or are you talking about like beating them?
No. Whoopings. My bad. I should have clarified. That's on me.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Whoopings. Apologies for the misunderstanding. That's what I'm. But yeah.
So you're saying that we shouldn't whoop our kids, or that we just shouldn't beat them?
Like the belt or whatever.
Need to do that.
The extra things aside from a pop on the. on the hands. I do
Oh
that.
no, I would absolutely disagree on whooping. I think whooping is okay. I do not agree with beating your children. That is unnecessary. But whooping, I fully believe in the phrase that pain retains. Because there's a lot of things that we do in life that you know is painful and you won't do it. You know that the stove is hot, not through just because someone said it, but when you went to go try to reach up there, you felt heat coming from it, and you know that if you touch it, you burn yourself, it hurts. So certain things you know that might cause pain, you will refrain from doing. So my children most likely will refrain from doing certain things, not everything. Children are mischievous. They will do all kinds of shit just because. But there are certain things that they will not do because they don't want to be in pain.
Now,
Now,
just some sneakier.
it just depends. It depends. I'm not saying children are creative. I did some crazy things as teenagers, but there are a lot of stuff that I did not do because I feared my grandmother. Absolutely. I feared her through not disappointing her, and I feared that I just didn't want to get my ass beat. Old people got hands, and they got different kinds of hands. And I wasn't trying to experience that.
Afraid of them. That's the part that's been derived from
Parenting from fear.
Afraid of your parent or your grandparent.
It's not afraid. It's
no reason to fear your guardian. That is ridiculous.
It's not because because I believe there are certain things that even through that you won't do through fear, right? I won't jump off of cliff because I'm scared of heights. So there's certain things through fear that I will not do. That's it. Now there's certain things that I'm just gonna say fuck it and do it anyway. There are those things, but there's just certain things, and there's a line, there's a baseline where I'm like, you know what? I'll do all this other stuff, but I will not do this.
What does it have to do with fear and respect?
Because those things will teach you certain things not to do. I know because of fear, I'm not going to steal from my grandmother. Because of fear. If I didn't have the fear of stealing from her, I would just do it. And then what? Was she gonna talk to me? I'm a 16-year-old boy. Talking don't mean shit to me. It don't. It means nothing. You're just gonna tell me not to do it, and because I have no fear of any repercussions or anything that's gonna happen, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah,
I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong. So Jamal and I, we don't whoop our children, all three of them. And we talk to them, we reason with them, we have conversations with them, we do timeout with Snuggles, and I do think there's a certain age where obviously that kicks in, the ability to talk to your child. So we have like popped him on the butt with our hands. We don't use anything else though. We're not pulling out belts, like we're not leaving welts. I remember my mom once beat me with a fucking boot, and I had welts on like the back of my legs. And
that's not a whooping. That's a beating. That's different.
No, that's still within the realms of whooping. Like that's still how black people.
Boot is not a whooping. That's not.
It's because I took her shoes to go see my boyfriend who was 20 when I was 16. So she used the shoes that I took.
I'd have just beat you anyway.
I'm just saying, but that's still within the realms of what black people view as whooping. It's just they're not going to be like, oh no, that was too far. She used a boot. No, like they used whatever the fuck they could find.
What would your mother would have been able to say at 16? What would she been able to tell you at 16? That you would have understood and be like, you know what, mama, you're right. I'm not going to do that. To go see this 20-year-old man.
I feel like there's things she could. We could have talked. I'm like the disappointment,
like, you know what,
me
mama?
disappointing her was enough for me. No, I would not have said you're right. I'm 16, but that doesn't change the fact that I would, if I punished, I wasn't a bad kid. So if she were to have punished me, I would have adhered to said punishment and essentially learned my lesson. Like I got punished for being late, and I am a very fucking punctual person now. Like so, and it didn't involve being whooped. It was just a punishment that stuck in my head is something that I have to get better at. So,
to each his own. I've met kids. I've dealt with kids.
Oh no, I've dealt with kids that need to be whooped too. But that's because that's how They probably were raised in households where they were whooped, so now they have a higher tolerance. They're not going to listen to somebody just raising their voice. No, we gotta tussle.
We got to up the ante, and then
But that's not
you
okay.
show who dominates.
Like, it's not okay. We shouldn't have to up the ante. Like, my
It's what
child should
happens when
respect
this is what
anybody
happens as
without them having to
testosterone
put their
builds in
hands
your
on
body.
them. Because now I'm basically sending my child out in the world saying, nah, somebody gonna have to beat your ass in order for you to listen. Like,
No, I first off, I believe that there can be a happy medium. I feel like you have conversations and whoop your kids at the same time. I feel like not at the same time, like as I'm beating you, I'm talking. But
it exists in
wait,
this. Oh
I
my god!
need you to understand that you use the word beating and whooping
well, I'm sorry.
interchangeably. No, but that's how it's viewed.
Right. You can whoop your kids and talk at the same level, right? So
Yeah.
I can explain what happened and why you received your whooping and why it happened that way. Because I asked you multiple times to do this, this, and this, and you did not do it, or you chose to do this instead, or you know that curfew is at X time, and I know you as my child, you don't listen to anything until things get physical. So I got to show you a realm of physicality, and then you're like, oh, he's serious. He's not just talking.
I feel you. So, are there any other, because we could go on for a while on this, any other cultural norms? I know for me, one of the ones is soul food. Like, that came from slavery. Those are the scraps of foods and what we got. Cornbread, which we talk about with Cam all the time.
Cornbread is delicious.
It is absolutely, and I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying these recipes didn't come from Africa.
They
They
didn't.
came from what we were given
I
as
feel like
slaves.
a lot of stuff is delicious though. Some stuff you put it in the right grandma
We
hand.
did it right.
Yeah, she did it right. Like,
I feel it.
oxtail, some neck bones, turkey necks. Like, she did it right. She,
Come on.
I don't know about them chitlins though. Chitlins and pig feet, you can keep that stuff. The liver, keep that stuff.
Oh
Even
no,
though
Brittany said it's
they say that liver is
nasty.
good for you.
That is very anti-black statement right there, Britt.
It is.
Cornbread is not. Oh, we at Unapologetically Black do not support the comments of.
Do not support that.
No, that's not me. It's the other Brit. For anyone tuning in. But yeah, no, I agree. Soul food is one. Jumping the broom as like a wedding.
Oh, I don't. No, I don't do that stuff.
I don't do it either, but it came from slavery. Like that's how they showed their commitment. You're not, you know what I mean? They jumped the
I
broom.
didn't do it because my wife is clumsy and she'd have tripped over the broom trying to jump over it. And now instead of being at a reception, we're at a hospital at the ER. At her ankle trying to jump over a broom.
I feel that 210% because I too am clumsy and I watch women run in heels and I'm like, that could never be me. But jumping a broom, I too would be. Honestly, on my birthday last year, I had on wedges and we went golfing and my ankles were like Bambi. Like they were weak. So I couldn't imagine like I went to swing to golf and like my legs just gave out and I was on my ass. So
have you seen her attempt to balance in person? I would have paid money to see that. Because that would have been hilarious.
it was pretty funny. It was definitely funny. I'm not gonna hold you. But yeah. And then another one that Jamal had brought up, and I'm pretty sure he's not with us right now. And he had brought up like getting drunk on Saturdays. That was something that the slave owners kind of pushed. And that the slaves did. Yeah, they would drink hooch and stuff that they made on Saturdays. I really wish he was here to explain it better than I can because he told me about it. But yeah, getting drunk on the weekends is something apparently from that time as well.
Also a good one. I mean, I don't mind getting drunk on Saturday. And get absolutely litty on a Saturday.
And then after Saturday is Sunday, and Christianity is probably one of the biggest things that have left a large impression on the Black community post-slavery. And we've talked about this a lot, but
But I mean, Yes and no. I mean, because Christianity is a big thing just in melanated countries across the world, so it's not just America, but that was one of the biggest. Um, it's one of the biggest religions that America. One, it was the religion that America was founded on,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pushed to all slaves was Christianity, as they said Jesus loves you, and then slap your ass with a fucking whip.
Right. Or
But
yeah,
mind
just
you, they did this, in the 1300s as they were killing people. In the name of Jesus, we're gonna, sacrifice this woman and set her on fire. You know, offer up as a burnt offering.
right.
I feel like people have twisted Christianity so much that, from that standpoint, that is crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's been twisted, but I feel like it was also just used in order to create a a group mindset as much as they could to use that fear to stay in line. I mean, cuz like we said with Kanye making his statement, slavery was a choice. It wasn't necessarily a choice as much as it essentially was brute force in brainwashing. You're
Right,
taking
brainwash.
people like, you're taking people from their country, you're intermixing them, so they don't even always speak the same languages with each other, and then you're forcing a white deity on them.
And even as they bred through the years through slavery, and they had children that were born in slavery, lived through slavery. It's just like, yeah, they were just taught by the older people, like, no, we don't go against that. Don't do that. You're going, because every now and then they'll just come take your child. And so what you
Exactly.
do is you try your best to the next child that you have, please stay in line. Please don't do this, because if you
Mhm.
don't, they will take you. And so they were just brainwashed so much that they thought they couldn't fight back
And
until
that's why
people
there
like
were still
Harriet Tubman
slaves in the
showed up and was like, we
1960s.
can't.
Right, but that's why there were still slaves in the 1960s, because it was ingrained in that
Mhm.
family. It was the same family of people. It's not like you brought in other people,
I mean,
just
Harriet
made it
Tubman
through
was
the
connected to
generations.
Kanye West before Kanye West. She was the Kanye West of her time.
Well, speaking of Harriet Tubman, if there is, first of all, is there anything else you guys wanted to mention before I wrap things up?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, speaking of Harriet Tubman, tomorrow we will be interviewing David Alston, um, who is Harriet Tubman's third cousin. We'll be
Great,
talking
why you
about
laughing?
his mission.
You can't laugh before we interview the man. See,
We'll
now he
be,
can't watch this interview. Tell
that's
him
what I said on Saturday when your ass laughed, Rich.
Like you innocent.
Okay, anywho. So we'll be talking about his mission, his business, and his nonprofit and what he's doing. Um, so we're excited about that conversation. Um, but yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Dre.
I had completely forgotten about Wednesday, and I was just going to go straight to the next Tuesday.
True.
What's Wednesday?
We're interviewing Harriet Tubman's third cousin.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yes, that's tomorrow. Wednesday
I don't
fall.
know what day, what is. I'm just living at this point.
Well, we're glad when you show up on time.
Which typically happens right when you text and say, "Hey, Rich, we're waiting on you."
But you show up on time.
Like, oh, that is today, isn't it? Okay.
Look,
Well,
Archie said he's setting his clock. Oh, it'll be at 8:30 p.m. EST. So that's like 7:30 your
7:30.
time, Arch.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
So
my bad, Arch. I was gonna do a photo shoot with Arch in Houston. My bad. I had some hiccups here in Ohio, so I couldn't make it out. But we're gonna still get together. We're gonna do that photo shoot. We're gonna meet up somewhere out here so that all of us can get together. Yeah, do some more shoots out here. But yeah, so take us home.
All right. Well, to follow up with my closeout, even though I'm skipping over Wednesday and Shit Talk Saturday, much like the stock that life gifted me with, even though our views are mostly black, we have to have a little bit of white in there to understand the gray area of understanding.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Into
Close us out more often, Dre.
Oh God.
trying to dive a little bit deeper into what white privilege is And we're going to have a longtime friend of mine joining us. And yes, he's white, to try to explain what it's like to live in, well, to
a white world as a white man.
With that being said, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay unapologetically black.
Gang.
See ya.
Have a good night.